The greatest asset you have is your mind. The greatest asset you have is your mind. What does that mean?
Have you ever questioned whether the decisions you make are truly your own? Consider the possibility that the choices you believe define your path might have been carefully planted by unseen forces long before you ever realized it. Real power does not come from shouting orders or imposing will. It comes from mastering the hidden language of the mind. For centuries, history has celebrated those who inspire revolutions. They understood that when you learn to guide others through a combination of emotion, repetition, and carefully crafted messages, you become a true leader. When ideas are presented persistently, our minds begin to accept them as truth. In our everyday lives, our thoughts and beliefs are shaped by exposure to these persistent messages, making it clear that our sense of free will is often an illusion. The power of influence is rooted in three fundamental principles: exposure, repetition, and emotional connection. First, exposure. The mind resists abrupt changes, but when a new idea is introduced gradually, it begins to see it as part of the familiar. Change is best achieved when it is introduced softly. Second, repetition. A single exposure may pass unnoticed, but repeated exposure weaves an idea into the fabric of our consciousness. When you consistently present a message in different forms, it transforms from a simple thought into a deeply held belief. The third principle, emotional connection, is perhaps the most potent of all. Emotions are the true engines of human behavior. Logic and reason may guide our thoughts, but it is our feelings that ultimately drive us to act. When an idea resonates emotionally, it bypasses the barriers of skepticism and resistance. People naturally follow the lead of others. When an idea is embraced by a group, its power multiplies. It becomes a shared experience. Active listening has been shown to build trust and create an emotional bond between individuals. When you genuinely listen to someone, you affirm their worth and make them feel valued. This connection opens the door to influence, as people are far more likely to accept ideas from someone they trust. By mastering the art of listening, you position yourself as a confidant and advisor.
That's why you're easily manipulated. If you are the person where you are just reactive, you're going to sink your ship.
Habits to become mentally stronger. Now, let's begin. Number 1, your biggest fan. How often do you talk to yourself? Many people are afraid of self-talk, even though it's one of the most reliable ways to boost your self-esteem. You might think self-talk is crazy, people, but anyone can use self-talk to their advantage because everyone has their own personal narrative. Your narrative describes the way you speak to yourself. If you're a negative or insecure person, you might have a malicious narrative that tears you down. That narrative has a profound impact on your self-esteem. It decreases your motivation, your courage, and your ability to take risks. In other words, if your narrative is hurtful, there's a good chance you'll pay the price. So, how do you change your personal narrative? How do you establish a positive relationship with yourself? Every day, say something nice to yourself. Just take a few seconds to appreciate your strengths. You might recognize something you're good at or reflect on an achievement you're proud of. This may feel strange at first. If you're not accustomed to self-talk, you might shy away from this embarrassing habit. But it's only embarrassing if you choose to be embarrassed. There's nothing wrong with talking to yourself, and there's nothing wrong with cheering yourself on. So if you want to boost your mental strength and change your self-deprecating narrative, then talk to yourself and be your biggest fan.
Talking to yourself regularly reduces stress and makes you more creative.
Number 2,
Wow, so your brain doesn't really know the difference between, say that again?
Between something that happened in real life or something that you strongly visualize.
So you could create enough of a visualization for yourself if you really were to powerfully start to focus on it and do that and build that ability to visualize something that your brain at one point would have to think it's so true that the world would meet you and put it into your life.
I love the way you put that.
Wow.
is change your perspective. When you encounter something that scares you, you have an opportunity. You can build your mental strength by facing that challenge head on. Challenging yourself proves that you're capable of more than you think. The next time you face a difficult challenge, don't think about the obstacles in your way. Don't worry about all the things you might do wrong. Instead, view every challenge as a learning experience. Perceive every difficult situation as an opportunity to learn a lesson, practice a technique, or experience something new. Number 3, emotional awareness. Do you engage with your emotions? Do you try to understand the way you feel? Most people suppress or ignore their emotions, hoping they'll disappear. But mentally strong people investigate their emotions because your emotions, when you look deep inside yourself, guide you toward a sense of purpose, meaning, and fulfillment in your life. Your emotions teach you how to find your own definition of success. Lean into your emotions. Try to identify each of the emotions you're feeling and spend time reflecting on how those emotions affect your decisions and your lifestyle. And that knowledge will make you a stronger person. Number 4, controlled responses. The strongest people are unwaveringly positive. The world may throw crazy obstacles in their path, but they find a silver lining in every setback. They see an opportunity in every failure, and they can always pinpoint a reason to keep pushing. Number 5, the inevitable storm. No one overcomes every obstacle on the first try. That's why failure is a fundamental experience shared by every person on the planet. Mentally strong people know things might fall apart. Instead of crumbling into a million tiny pieces, they catch themselves when they fall. They minimize the damage done, and they rebuild their ambitions stronger than ever. Number 6, how often do you take risks? Taking risks is a difficult thing to do. It requires a strong combination of courage, foresight, and enthusiasm. Above all, you have to believe in your ability to try new things. You have to believe you will rise to the occasion. But how do you develop that kind of confidence in yourself? Risk-taking is a key component of both confidence and mental strength. If you want to have faith in yourself, then you have to prove you're worthy of your own belief. Earn confidence and self-belief by pushing yourself into uncharted territory.
7. Record what you have gratitude for. 8. Take care of your physical health. 9. Create a healthy environment for yourself. 10. Do a hobby or activity that you enjoy. And these are...
There is one exercise where you are starting to just close the fist and then start clenching them. So, and now you are supposed to hold this position for, let's say, 4 minutes. 4 minutes under pressure. So this one, not just like waiting, yeah. So 4 minutes full power. But what I want to achieve by that is relaxation. So if somebody would ask me, so what are you doing there? I would call them, it's a relaxation exercise. But this doesn't look like relaxation exercise. But the point is, after you are 4 minutes like this, when you then stop it, now the real relaxation comes. Yeah.
How to be dangerous. 1. Dress classy. Always wear a watch. Sign of significance. 2. Look into people's eyes no matter who they are. 3. Never appear stressed. Always stay calm. 4. Don't show your weaknesses. Don't let people use it towards you. 5. Grind in shadows. Don't show your work. Lift weight and let success talk.
The most important measurement on your entire body is the distance between your earlobe and your shoulder. This distance right here. Watch. If I were to do this in the interview the entire time, if I were to have a very small distance between my earlobe and my shoulder, I would look anxious. I would also have a really hard time giving you vocal power. There's a direct correlation between confidence and anxiety and the distance between our shoulder and our earlobe. And very quickly, we're trying to just assess someone in the first few seconds of seeing them. We're trying to assess how confident are you? Can I catch it? We don't like people who are anxious. We don't want to talk to someone like this because we don't want to catch that anxiety, but we do want to talk to someone who has the max distance between their earlobes and their shoulder. That makes me look more confident, but it also makes me feel more confident.
What's the easiest way to make someone feel comfortable around you?
Man, that's fantastic. There's a few different ways. Number one is that they see you as predictable and reliable. So that starts with like, this person, A, is not a threat. So not being a threat means I'm not facing a person head on. Like the way you and I are facing right now, it's non-adversarial. Our brains are kind of wired to be a little bit more competitive when people are sitting directly facing head on to each other.
I feel like women have all the secrets in the world to improve their beauty, but men, where is our direction? Well, I am your direction. I'm your guidance, bro. This is what your boy's out here fighting for. Number 2, get a signature scent. This one's powerful. See, our brains are so magnificent that they have something called an olfactory bulb. Think of it like a memory storage that gets triggered based on scents. If you can find a signature scent that's universally, or for the most part, attractive or delicious, every time you meet somebody, that scent's gonna stay stored. And every time they smell that, it's like that olfactory bulb will shoot off and be like, yo, no, there's Jose, that dude, that good looking dude, right? I'm telling you, bro, it works. A signature scent works. It is like it's like your call, bro. Like when people smell it, like, oh, there's that dude. He's always on point. You need a signature scent, something that always smells good. And you can try multiple ones. The only hard part or thing you need to understand is that scents do vary, right? So the scents that you'll wear to certain occasions, you can't wear in other occasions. It's similar to clothing, right? Like I can't wear a hoodie to every single occasion. You need to know what scents work and how to. Number 3, in your teeth. Your teeth are important, bro. This is like your first point of contact. If you want to better your appearance, it's all up here. And like I've always said, a good smile, it's a connector. It's magnetic, and women cannot resist it. Most women already have up their guard. When they see a guy, it's like, yo. But when they see a guy that's friendly, that guard slowly starts coming down. When they see a guy that's friendly and hygienic, then it's like, oh, wait, he's attractive. I'm trying to give you the playbook here, bro. Whiten your teeth. It is not enough just to have good oral care. Number 4, change your skincare. Most of you have done skincare at this point. Skin type, I promise you, the change on your skin will be drastic. Number 5, eat less often. I've been doing a lot of intermittent fasting lately. The results are crazy. And the more I look into it, the more I look into the science and the studies, yo, this is insane. Not only eating less often expands your life. So what I'm basically telling you is, I want you to reduce the window that you eat.
Normally, earning respect takes years of demonstrating high character, but there are exceptions, and that's why in this video we'll cover 6 psychological tricks that you can use to command more respect almost instantly. First, to start dressing one level nicer than the situation calls for, which will get you noticed in a positive way, and that's exactly what you see from Ryan Gosling in Crazy Stupid Love. Physically take up more space. Watch here as Tony Robbins own the space around him when he speaks and how it captivates his listener.
You know, $300 a week, no, $2,500 excites him more, that memory to this day, than even the $1 million, you know, he did in his first 24-hour version, right? Or you breaking the 4 minute mile, $1 million, that must have been out of your mind. Tell me about that for a second.
Now, physically taking up more space doesn't have to mean huge hand gestures that demand the spotlight. It can be as simple as sitting asymmetrically or taking up your entire seat. And the goal here isn't to encroach on anyone else's space in some kind of dominance game. In fact, you can always adjust to make more room for the people around you. It's to sub-communicate that you aren't afraid of being seen with your body. body. The easiest way to take up more space in a non-invasive way is with your own posture.
Oh, wait.
Next time that you're about to enter a room, just take a second to roll your shoulders back a few times and increase the space between the bottom of your ribs and your hip bones. This will make you stand taller, and you'll notice an immediate difference in how you feel as well as how people look at you.
In reality, making someone comfortable is about having confidence that's actually contagious. So when somebody has confidence that's artificial, it makes other people feel small. If your confidence is genuine and you're not faking confidence out of ego, that's what makes people small. But if I'm truly confident, it should make other people confident. Trying to raise a kid, you want your confidence to be contagious. Your number one goal is to transfer my level of confidence to that other person so they can make a decision. I want to increase their confidence. So that's the number one thing, is having confidence to the point where it's transferable to the other person.
A handshake should be between 1 and 3 pumps or 1 and 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, that's good. And typically they found that if we do a 3-second shake, it's with a new person. But if I were to see you again, like, oh, it's so good to see you. Typically, if you already know someone, you're just like doing a quick reading, it's a 1 second. You also want to make sure that when you're doing a handshake, you're offering thumb up. You'll notice certain political power players, so they'll flip you.
Oh, Donald Trump.
I've watched many a video, and he'll shake your hand, turn you up. This is a very vulnerable place to be. We don't like it as humans to have these arteries up. That is purposely trying to get someone off balance, like to give them disequilibrium. I like relationships to be equal. That's why I want you to offer thumb up.
Good morning, everyone. I'm really excited to be here. I cannot wait to share the next hour with you. I'm so excited. You didn't even hear what I said. And the problem is, a lot of the times when we speak, we're not adding enough volume. Volume breathes life into your voice. It gives your voice life. But what does volume show? Volume shows authority. Volume shows confidence. And volume shows vitality. There are times when we have to be loud, but then there are times when we have to be quiet as well. Don't just think it's about being loud. That gets annoying. It's also about being quiet, because when you're quiet and you use it sparingly, it draws people in. Too quick and too slow, not engaging, nor is it influential. Even if I stick to a fairly engaging rate of speech like I am right now, notice after a while if I stick to this rate of speech and I don't vary my rate of speech, what started as being really engaging after a while is no longer engaging, doesn't it? It seems rather monotonous, doesn't it? It's so interesting. It's because the human brain, the moment it can detect patterns, it starts predicting what's going to happen next. And once it moves into that, and you do exactly as it predicts, it goes, oh, not important, don't need to listen, don't need to engage. The key with rate of speech is to vary it. When you're speaking about something very important, slow down. Didn't that seem critical? And then if it's not as important, you can speed up. This simple rule alone allows us to create vocal variety with our rate of speech. Anytime you transition from slow to fast or fast to slow, that creates engagement in people's minds. Because you think you can predict it, but then you can't. And it re-engages your brain again. These 5 exercises to wake up all the facial expression muscles. There are so many muscles in your face. The first one, make your face big and small. Please be careful when you do this. Don't dislocate your jaw. Don't go overboard. Just big and small like this. And small. Big and small. And by doing this for 30 seconds, it just wakes up your face. The second thing you do is, you pretend you're chewing a really big piece of gum. Pretend you're chewing something really big. Really big piece of gum. Massive piece of gum. And you're just getting through it. This is done to unlock your jaw. Otherwise, sometimes when we talk, we don't move our jaw, then all of a sudden it seems like we're mumbling, right? That's because I'm not dropping my jaw. But the moment I drop my jaw, my voice comes out. Number 3. You move your eyebrows up and down. Obviously, don't do this while looking at people. That's the third one. Just wakes up that upper part of your face. Most people don't use it ever. Next, you do lip trills. It helps you get rid of the morning voice. You know, you wake up in the morning and you sound super sexy. Hey. Yeah. Lip trills gets rid of it. And the final one is to move your jaw from side to side. That's it. Just move it from side to side.
Hand gestures. You see, just like with your vocabulary, when you speak, you can improve and increase your vocabulary. You can do the same thing with your gesture vocabulary. When you learn how to use your hand gestures, your gestures support the things that you say. Notice how that's better than... The powerful thing about hand gestures is that it supports the things that you say. The easiest way to expand your gesture vocabulary is to think to yourself, how can I use my hands to describe the things that I'm saying? For example, last night I went to dinner and I walked up to a door and then I grabbed the door and I kept pushing it and I couldn't open the door for some reason. I couldn't understand why I couldn't push the door. And then I realized, it's not a push door, it's one of those pull doors. Notice how I use my hands to bring that moment to life? A lot of my students say, Vin, I talk about things that are really boring. How can I bring it to life? You can bring it to life with your body language.
Second distance is important between your arm and your torso. In a good conversation, we have distance that's fluctuating a lot. Like, right, I'm talking, my arms are going out, you're seeing distance between my torso and my arm. People who are very anxious, like penguin, I call it penguin, where they don't ever release their arms from their torso, and they're very contracted and they have very minimal hand gestures, and they'll often clutch something to their chest. Now, if I were to give the entire interview like this, you would think, oh man, she is nervous or she's afraid. The moment I release that space, it makes me look more confident. So that's the other distance you can play with. Hand gestures really help with that. Hand gestures help with space, with vocal variety, with comprehension. That's why I like them so much. I had all kinds of gestures in these videos. They found there was one single gesture that people rated as the most charismatic. And it is, I call it the power pose for the hands. It is a steeple.
Okay.
So a steeple is when you touch the tops of your fingertips lightly together and you keep space between your palms. It is the most calm, broad gesture for your hand. You can do it with an armrest. You can do it on the table. Right now, just be careful. Don't drum. That's evil drumming. That's very Mr. Burns.
With your hands?
Just try this with me for a second.
Yeah.
It will actually make you feel more grounded when you do it. So this one's my really good one. This one's my favorite.
What is it?
It's this.
Oh, you're rubbing your hands together.
Yes.
So literally just rubbing your hands together as you're talking.
So like when I'm about to say something, oh, this is really good. This is really exciting. Even that small little gesture should be like, ooh, this is going to be good. I don't know why. I think it's because we warm our hands this way. But a very subtle one is if you're about to share something good or tell someone, like, oh, this is such a good little story.
This gesture is called computer. If you do this while someone's talking, it shows you're processing, it shows you're listening, and it shows you care.
Third one. I love eye contact. We all know good eye contact is important. But here's what you might not know about good eye contact. Eye contact is a power move when you look at someone at the end of your sentence. So we're very used to if someone's thinking about something and they're processing something in their head, and I'm telling you that there were 465 gestures in a TED Talk, that is the most important way that I want to showcase something to you. That we like it when someone is actually accessing different memories or areas of their brain, but then when I end my sentence looking right at you, you're like, whoa. So highly competent people make eye contact specifically at the end of their sentences to drill a point, and ideally when the other person is saying something important. The ideal amount of eye contact is between 60 and 70% of the conversation. If you make over 70% eye contact, it's actually considered a territorial gesture. So if I were to be making 100% eye contact with you, it feels very invasive, very awkward.
Conversation. 3 things need to happen. Before we get into any of that, we have to understand that in order for this loop to be started, someone has to be willing to share first. And the majority of people are shy. You have to be the one to take initiative. You should be sharing first. In order to properly share, you need to reach deep down into yourself and express your true feelings and opinions about things. The key here is to avoid facts and to seek emotion. Facts like your occupation, what school you went to with what major, the events of last night's sports game, the events of some random TV show, gossip and drama. This is all surface level conversation. It's fine for making acquaintances, but not for building a deeper relationship, because none of that tells me who you are. None of that allows me to say, hey, I felt that before too. What you want to do is you want to seek emotion. Emotions like how you felt when you failed at something, how you felt when you had your first success, how you felt when you moved for the first time, something that you regret, something that you love, something that you hate, your dreams, your fears, your stories, your feelings, your aspirations, your regrets, an embarrassing moment, a happy moment, a sad moment, your opinions about things, how you feel about things. These are the things that you want to talk about. Here's some practice questions that you can think about that will help you share more about yourself. What is a moment that you regret? Something that you wish you could go back and redo. Why do you want to go back? What is something you dream about accomplishing, but you're too shy to tell the rest of the world? Are you scared of not being able to accomplish it? Why? What is the best and the worst moment you experienced with your family? How did you feel when these things happened? How have they shaped you as a person? Now, many times after sharing, the other person who is listening will be prompted to share something deep about themselves as well. Sometimes if they don't, you can prompt them by asking something along the lines of, have you ever felt something like this before? Or has something like ever happened to you before? Now this leads us to the next step, which is listening. The large majority of people are not good listeners. When someone shares something deep and meaningful with you, they're giving you an opportunity to dive into the depths of their world. They're trusting you enough to share something deep about themselves that they rarely ever share. So you better make sure you're listening correctly. The key to being a good listener is to be as present as possible. Listen to them as you would watch a movie. Become enveloped in the world for the brief period of time that they are speaking. You want to hold strong eye contact for at least 80% of the time while they are talking. You want to ask questions that will allow them to elaborate more on points that you're interested in. And most of all, you want to let them do 90% of all the time.
Attractive guys do this. Researchers found that when men vocalized during conversation, women found them more attractive. What's a vocalization? When men go, ah, oh, wow, uh-huh. In other words, listen loudly, vocalize. You are literally telling someone you're listening, and women find it super attractive.
And finally, the last step is to relate. We may come from different places with different backgrounds, yet we are all very similar inside. There are things that each and every person experiences. These things that we all have in common, that we all go through, are our emotions. Fear, bliss, love, regret, anger, embarrassment, and many other emotions. The first thing you want to do is identify which emotion the other person is conveying through their story or whatever it is that they're sharing. And you want to be able to relate to them by bringing up something that is similar. So you can tell them, hey, what you went through, I felt the same thing before. The best way to go about starting a deep conversation is to first build some rapport. You want to talk about surface level things at first because this is what is socially acceptable. You can also throw in humor in order to build rapport quickly. After building this rapport, you want to start off by sharing some positive emotions first. You don't want to talk about your greatest fear and regret immediately at the get-go with someone you just met. Talk about something like your ambitions, like what made you happy or a funny moment that happened to you. 4 extremely powerful topics that you can talk to just about anyone. Learning and using these 4 topics will allow you to build large amounts of rapport with just about anyone, an acronym I like to call FORD. So let's jump right into it. F stands for family. Everyone has some sort of family. The second topic is O, which stands for occupation. They say that 45% of our lives are spent on our occupation, whether it be at school or at work. It's to quickly jump into a deeper conversation. For example, let's say you're on a date and you ask her what she does for a living. She says, I'm a school teacher. A lot of people make the following mistake. They go, okay, what subject do you teach? Okay, what school do you teach at? What you want to do instead is to add a comment before asking another question. The next topic is R, which stands for recreation. Everyone has some sort of recreational activity. It could be an interest or a hobby. Sometimes it's even something that they're very passionate about. The final topic is D, which stands for dreams. Without a doubt, this is the most powerful topic you can talk to someone about. Everyone has a dream that they are pursuing or wish they could be pursuing. And this topic is especially powerful nowadays because the average person does not get to pursue their dream. You want to make sure you've built a sufficient amount of rapport before leading the conversation towards dreams in order to get truly meaningful responses. So I'll share with you guys, sometimes you'll get an idea of what a person's dream is by talking about their recreational activity. If they mention that they like to draw, their dream might be to become an artist one day.
3 magic phrases for likability. 1, I was just thinking of you. Okay, so here's how you use this authentically, right?
Okay.
You think of a lot of people in your life all the time.
Yeah.
If you are thinking of someone and you can text them, I was just thinking of you, how are you? I was just thinking of you, how'd that project go? I was just thinking of you, it has been a while since we talked. That's a way of assuring someone, I do think of you, only if it's true. The second one is, you're always so if you're with someone and you're impressed by them or they're interesting or they're funny, saying, oh, you always make me laugh. You're always so interesting. You're always so great to interview. You're always so great at interviews. Giving them a label that is a positive label is the best gift you can give someone because it's fighting that signal amplification bias. And the last one is, last time we talked, you mentioned We are so honored when we get brain space that you remembered and you're going to bring it up. And you specifically bring up something that they lit up with. I mean, they were like, oh, it was great. It was exciting. It was. Don't compliment the tall guy on being tall. Do not compliment someone on something that they already know is a thing for them. I'm with VIPs, and someone will compliment the VIP on the thing that they work really hard on. They're like, yeah, I know. You're better off complimenting someone on something that they're working really hard at, but they haven't quite perfected. So if there's something that they're working on, they haven't quite perfected, and you're like seeing the progress, complimenting on progress is one of the best things you can do. We love progress as human beings. So complimenting more specific things that they're working on. And the second thing is we should be good at receiving compliments, and I've had to work on this, where like if someone compliments you, oh my gosh, that is so kind, and then don't say it back. This is like the worst when someone's like, oh my gosh, you look so pretty, and then someone's like, oh, you look pretty too. Really? No one
The best
believes
that you could come up with.
Yeah, no one believes that. So if you get a compliment, just say, thank you so much. That's so kind. Just that. Don't apologize for it. Don't say that they're wrong. And for heaven's sakes, don't fake compliment them back. Just take it.
Is that if people are not listening to you, stop talking to them. And that is the best piece of advice that I can give you. And what happens is that if you stop talking to people who aren't listening to you and start watching them instead, if someone isn't listening to you, you should stop talking and you should start watching. You are not where you think you are, and you are not talking to who you think you're talking to. Now, if you cease talking and start watching and listening, they will tell you who they are and what they're up to. Because you're devaluing what you have to say by offering it to an audience that does nothing but reject it. And that's a good guideline to life in general.
If you are in a room and someone gives you a cue of social rejection.
What does that look like?
Okay, so social rejection, eye roll, a sigh,
looking away.
Looking away, distancing behavior. When we pull our head back and like when I angle my head back, you know I've just disengaged from you.
Crossing arms and...
Crossing arms, sudden nonverbal, you label them and respond appropriately. So
you can't control how they act towards you, but you can control how you react to it, how you interpret it, how you transition afterwards.
Yes.
In a world that seems to value constant noise and relentless chatter, true power lies not in the clamor of words, but in the art of silence. The power that transforms lives, that shatters limitations, and that inspires greatness is the power to control your own voice, to master your emotions, and to harness the relentless force within you. Where each moment of silence becomes a statement of strength. When you choose silence over endless chatter, you create space for introspection, clarity, and deliberate action. Consider the people who speak without thinking, who rush to justify every word, and who let their emotions run wild. They are the ones who reveal their vulnerabilities, exposing fears and insecurities for all to see. They understand that every unnecessary word can be a window into their soul, a sign of weakness, and an opportunity for others to seize control. When you pause and allow silence to take over, you gain the power to observe the world with a keen eye and a clear mind. Silence becomes a shield that guards you against the manipulation of others and the tyranny of impulsive emotions. When you stop engaging in every argument, when you stop feeling compelled to explain, justify, or defend your every thought, the idea that what is rare, what is elusive, and what is not always available is ultimately more precious. By managing your presence with precision, you not only enhance your own self-worth, but also make others crave your insight, your guidance, and your leadership. Those who can delay their responses have already won half the battle. Every second you resist the urge to react impulsively, every moment you choose silence over noise, you are reinforcing your inner power, that you are not controlled by the need to always be heard. In conflicts and debates, silence has the remarkable ability to turn the tables. When you choose not to react, you force your opponent into a state of uncertainty. Their attempts to provoke you become futile, as your calmness and measured silence expose their own fears and insecurities. In every moment of quietude, you are inviting others to confront their own vulnerabilities. They are left with nothing but their thoughts and their desperate need to fill the void with noise.
1. If you want to command attention, speak less. This technique triggers a psychological phenomenon known as the information gap theory. By speaking sparingly, you compel others to fill in the blanks. This not only grants you control over the narrative, but makes your words the most valuable.
The power of mystery. Power doesn't just come from strength or action. It comes from mystery. In a world where everyone wears their heart on their sleeve, where every move is announced, and every intention is laid bare, the man who keeps his cards close to his chest holds the real power. The moment people know your next move, you've already lost. When you reveal your plans, your thoughts, your goals, you hand over control. People start plotting against you, manipulating your path, and anticipating your moves. But when you stay silent, when you keep them guessing, you create fear, intrigue, and respect. Think about the last time you told someone your big plans. Maybe it was a friend, a colleague, or even a family member. How did they react? Did they support you? Or did they cast doubt, plant seeds of negativity? People fear what they don't understand, and they sabotage what they can't control. Silence doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing everything on your terms, without interference. Stop oversharing. In today's world, people announce their every thought, goal, and plan on social media, in conversations, and even in casual interactions. Don't be one of them. Keep your ambitions to yourself. Let your success speak for you.
Who doesn't like me?
Now, a ton of this has to do with frames, so I'm going to give a quick crash course. Frames are the unspoken context that dictates the rules of any interaction, and you can analyze interactions as two people introducing and accepting or rejecting one another's frames. The more powerful, confident person usually wins out. That's why you're more likely to enthusiastically answer, "Tell me about yourself," at an interview than at a party. You're going to acquiesce to the interviewer's frame because they have power that a random partygoer doesn't. Whoever controls the frame has power. Anyways, the first thing to note is how Harvey's body language and tone are establishing the fact that he controls the frame and therefore is the more powerful person in an interaction. For instance, Harvey often surprises people by entering big and brash, like the corporate lawyer that he is, and he establishes the frame that the other person will react to his emotional state.
Jessica threatened me. I don't care. Anyone comes at you with any threat at all, you come to me. I don't give a if it's the Queen of England. You come to me. You tell me everything.
But you'll often see Harvey respond much more slow and subdued when somebody directs him to do something. They might be saying, "Go quickly." He responds by going slowly, a subtle indicator of power.
That's a Barbary legal handbook right there, right? Open it up. Read me something. Anything. All right, you know what, Harvey? Just get out. Get out.
Harvey frames himself as nearly omnipotent by dictating not what he'd like to happen in a situation or what he hopes will happen, but how things are certainly going to unfold. Listen to his language here.
Here's what's going to happen. You're going to give me back my promotion, and that's the last we're going to talk about this.
The key to actually making this believable comes from Harvey's tonality. When we're nervous, or we just want to make things sound like more of an invitation, we will add an upward inflection to a statement. Now, this is the difference between saying, for instance, "Come over to my house at 7," and "Come over to my house at 7." And when you tell people what's going to happen, you typically want to do it with a downward inflection, as Harvey does.
Everybody, give me and Faye a minute alone. It's okay, Lewis. I got it.
For the purposes of charisma, setting a higher energy frame is best in entrances and greetings, whereas Harvey's slower, less reactive frame is more powerful in moments of conflict. This brings us to the next main point. Powerful, confident people respond to other people's insults, not by challenging the content of their insult, but by attacking the frame. Challenging the content would imply that you've accepted their frame and need to defend yourself. Shifting the framing is a verbal way of taking back control, and it's the heart of quick wit. Check out a few examples here.
Fantastic wine. Almost enough to make up for the mediocre company.
Don't be too hard on yourself. You're not mediocre. See, that's funny because you were talking about me.
So what is this, a new cologne or just a hint of jealousy?
I'm surprised you don't recognize your wife's perfume.
I know.
You're not married. Still funny.
The less that you focus on literally defending yourself, the better your banter will become. A key here, though, if you're going to engage in banter, is not to make it critical to win every exchange. Powerful people can mess around, and they don't need to win every time. So when someone does jokingly get one up on Harvey, he can confidently play along, further solidifying his confidence and power.
We have breakfast at Nougatine and an excursion to Hermes that may or may not involve a new handbag.
You've been needing a new handbag.
You can never have too many handbags.
You're a son of a bitch.
It's exactly what I thought of myself when I came up with the idea.
Harvey's spoken frame is that they are lucky to be working with him. So when they begin to disrupt this framing, treating him as an inferior that they can berate, he quickly asserts that he has the power to leave them.
You see it how you want to see it. But if you can't figure out a way to make Jonathan stay, you'll be the one who's gone.
Tony, I'm going to fix this, but let's get one thing clear. I'm not like the other lawyers you burned through. So the next time you go stomping around like a 4-year-old throwing tantrums with me, I'll be the one getting rid of you.
Again, rather than responding to the content of what they're saying by defending himself, he responds to the framing, that he ought to be working for their approval in the first place. Now, another reinforcer of this partner frame is that rather than work for the praise of his clients, Harvey allows them to earn his favor, complimenting them when they've impressed him.
I don't take meetings, I set them. And my respect isn't demanded, it's earned.
That's only two things. What's C?
C is for people who show me they know A and B.
Well, since we're quoting Jerry Maguire, all I want is for you to show me the money.
You just took step number 1 towards earning my respect.
It feels good for the client because they're receiving a compliment, but it also reinforces the idea that Harvey is screening them. When people feel they've been accepted to something exclusive, it makes them value it much more than if they were simply sold into that thing. That's why people celebrate college admissions letters, even though they essentially just received the biggest bill of their lives. All it requires is that you pay attention to the moment that you think, you know what, I like this person. It could be something as simple as saying during a greeting, I love your enthusiasm. It's always a bummer when people are flat during interactions. That little statement positions you both as friendly and discerning in terms of who you choose to spend time with. Now, we have arrived at the fundamental mindset that makes Harvey so powerful, and it's that he creates options for himself. In any negotiation, the person who has a better second option is going to win. They can afford to care less. And Harvey knows that he can always get another client or another job or find another way if someone closes one path to him. He has power because he doesn't need anyone specific to do anything specific for him. He can get what he wants and needs from a variety of sources. This is a mindset that can improve your life dramatically in a ton of areas. In dating, create options. That doesn't mean that you need to date all the time. It means that you simply become the type of person who knows that they're capable of finding someone else that they love spending time with. And that might mean that you work on the general social skills that you're finding on our channel. In your career, create options. You are far more likely to ask for and get a raise when you've been developing your skills in your free time and know that you could get another job if things didn't work out.
Learn how to react if someone is insulting you. Look at them for 2 seconds, then ask, are you sure you're okay? 2. If you think someone is lying, look into their eyes and don't say anything. 3. When you're in a conversation, keep your voice calm. It creates an impression that you're winning the conversation. 4. Your body position has a significant impact on your confidence. Take up more space where you're sitting and relax your body so you don't seem nervous.
There's a funny trick they teach, which I'll teach you. It's not part of my warmth cues, but I'm going to teach it to you because I think it's interesting. Mm-hmm. Don't let anyone use this on you. Okay. So there's this thing that NLP people will do, or pickup artists will do, where they move their hand like this, and the other person will begin to nod, because typically when we do this with our hand, the other person starts to nod, which makes you think, I agree, I agree, I agree.
What are you doing for anyone that is
I'm moving my hand up and down in a nodding yes motion. And so what I've noticed very manipulative people will do is they'll be doing this, they speak like, don't you understand what I'm saying? Do you get this? And the other person will start to nod. And I've seen entire audiences will start nodding. And then you think to yourself, well, I'm nodding, so I must agree with this person. It's a secret way to get someone to secretly agree with you.
If you want someone to agree with you, nod while you're talking.
Of manipulation. Number 1, charm. We all know someone who uses a wink and a compliment to get what they want. People want to feel attractive and wanted. Manipulators play into these feelings by being charming. They believe that when a person starts to get a little flirty, they'll start to be attracted to the manipulator and will be more likely to submit to the manipulator's demands. 3 is silent treatment. Silence is a surprisingly effective manipulation and negotiation tool. Silence makes us all anxious. If someone is silent or they refuse to speak, we may feel the urge to get given to their desires. Or number 9 is pleasure induction. For many, pleasure induction is a harmless manipulation tactic. When someone invokes the pleasure induction tactic, they're simply telling the person that the action that they were trying to get them to do will be fun and that the person will enjoy it. Come on, it'll be fun. What's the harm? However, it's still a form of manipulation.
The next point is that whenever possible, ask questions instead of making statements. The reason this is so significant is that questions tend to come across as less confrontational than statements, provided that they're not provocative, accusatory questions. Now, then frame your disagreements in the form of questions. That gives the other person a chance to respond without feeling cornered, and it makes them much less likely to be offended.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you to start doing this thing? So 1 is low motivation, and 10 is high motivation. So after you get an answer from that question, they're maybe going to say something like a 4 or a 5. You then ask the second irrational question, and that is, why did you not say a lower number? And here is where the magic happens. Because then the person is required to explain to you why they should be doing this thing. They have to argue the motivation to you, because they could have said a lower number, and now they have to think about why they didn't.
First one, fail early, fail often, fail forward. Failure is where all of the lessons are. You know, when you go to, you gotta take a shot. You have to live at the edge of your capabilities. That's
اسمه وينستون تشرشل قال لك ايه بقى؟ قال لك النجاح هو القدرة على الانتقال من فشل لفشل دون فقدان في الحماس. انا بحبها بصراحه. يعني ازاي ابقى لسه فاشل ولسه طالع عين امي ولسه خسران خساره قد كده واقوم رايح داخل على معركه تانية وانا لسه خسران بس لسه بحماس. يعني لسه واكل علقه موت ورايح علقه تاني هاخدها بس انا متحمس. هو ده النجاح. هو ان انت هتفشل وتاخد على وشك وتشتغل ويطلع عينك والكلاينت ما يحاسبك وانا لسه عندي الحماس والجبروت والاصرار والعزيمه بتاع انا هعمل كده تاني. انت ما شفتنيش النهارده، صباح الفل على عيونك تشوفني بكره.
You have about a 5-second window in which you can move from idea to action before your brain kicks into full gear and sabotages any change in behavior. Your brain is wired to stop you from doing things that are uncomfortable or uncertain or scary. It's your job to learn how to move from those ideas that could change everything into acting on them. The next morning, the alarm goes off, and I literally went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I stood up. I'll never forget standing there in my bedroom, and for the first time in 3 months, I had beaten my habit of hitting the snooze button. And if I didn't move within 5 seconds, my brain would step in and talk me out of it.
The greatest asset you have is your mind. The greatest asset you have is your mind.